Parts, positionless lacrosse, we like to call it. Here's Tucker Wade, the sophomore in the midfield. Peter Bonanno, top 10 freshman recruit, starting for the third consecutive game in the midfield. Chad Palumbo tried to go low to high. There's Kabiri for the backup.
And Cody, you mentioned that word positionless, and what it really means is versatility. You'll see attackmen playing in midfielder spots above the cage and midfielders playing in attackman spots around and behind the cage for Princeton. So they're extremely versatile and dangerous.
Ocho Terreno put it on the turf. Up top, it stays with Princeton. Tucker Wade, left-handed dodge, and the shot from up top to get the Tigers on the scoreboard. When we talked to Lehigh's head coach Will Scudder, he talked about the importance of 50-50 balls and not giving Princeton second chances. Tucker Wade and the Tigers taking advantage.
And you mentioned those 50-50 chances, and Wade taking advantage of a scrambled situation above the goal.
Hunter Spees able to come away with it. Now Craddock trying to initiate the clear through Mulshine. Princeton at times this year has struggled to clear a bit, but quickly up ahead with Bath. And the penalty expires. Back at 6-on-6.
And Lehigh had an opportunity, but with this defense, the windows are so small and they close just as fast. Great job by Coach Hirsch's defense.
Princeton already with 5 shots after they had 60 shots in that victory against Dartmouth Saturday. On the move, Coulter Mackesy. Nobody's going to stop that, and it's 2-0 Princeton. Mackesy, left hand, head of steam, game over.
And this is why Coulter Mackesy has been one of the best goal scorers since the very first day he stepped foot on campus here. Comes off the pick, down the alley, and he paints the post. Offside hip, just a near impossible shot to save. And he gets it done in so many different ways. As you see him, a nice tradition for that team in terms of defenders who have worn that number. Teddy Leggett, another one who's had success.
A little bit of an unsettled situation. Dakota Ironman takes a tumble. Can't put it on cage, but it's backed up by Colin French. Critical possession for Lehigh, down 2-0, creeping up on the midway point here in the first quarter.
And if you're Lehigh, stay deliberate, stay patient. Very early in this game, you're not going to get, there's no 2-point line in college lacrosse.
Grant Rodney on the run, the Colorado Springs native, running with the midfield. Here's a shot from Ironman, and one of their veteran leaders gets the Mountain Hawks on the scoreboard. His team leading 17th goal of the season. He had been playing a lot of attack. They love him back at his natural position in the midfield.
And this is why his game is above the cage. Dakota Ironman, he's been a fire starter for this team ever since his freshman season. And right here, changes his levels, and he beats Craddock on that.
He's got a ground ball. He's got a couple of calls, turnovers already. Back and forth we go here under the lights, and Lehigh an errant pass, and the Mountain Hawks turn it over.
And just a missed opportunity for Lehigh. Yes, you want to be opportunistic, but Princeton has a 5-on-4. You play excellent defense with Checo and then throw the ball away, give it right back to Princeton.
Already 7 combined turnovers over the first 8 minutes or so of this contest, just 3 of them caused.
And these are 2 very disciplined teams who take care of the ball and are very efficient.
Second midfield, Bonanno. Actually, Kramer, Dunphy, and Cameron. Second midfield for the Tigers. Now Kabiri at X. It's been a different player at X each possession, it seems, for the Tigers. A Princeton turnover. Andrew Kelly on the attack. Feet out in front, and it's Luke Winkler to tie it up. Lehigh taking advantage of the turnover. Timeout taken.
And the Mountain Hawks taking advantage of an errant pass. And Winkler in his first start, he delivers for the Mountain Hawks.
Looking to run, here's Kramer for the orange and black. Kramer head of steam, tried to go stick side high, and there for the save is Heath. Second save of the night for the first-year starter. Jackson Green winning the 50-50 ball, tossing it back on the offensive end, and Mackesy will wait for some reinforcements. Princeton just needs to settle it down and get into the offensive set.
And Princeton has the advantage in the half-field offense, so not wanting to turn this into a track meet, as those opportunities are the easier goals to score in lacrosse. And when you push it, if you don't capitalize, you also leave yourself susceptible on the back end.
Princeton got 2 goals in the first 5.5 minutes by Tucker Wade and Coulter Mackesy. It was 2-0 Tigers. There's Kabiri. He stings it. Princeton back on top 3-2.
And Kabiri, 2 in white for Princeton, comes off the pick by Tucker Wade that you see right off screen right there. And look at 19, set that pick to allow Kabiri to get his hands free, and he's gonna let it fly from the outside.
30-second penalty, so working quickly. Saris in there, the man-up specialist, number 36 on the doorstep. There's an opportunity, shot by Cameron, blocked, foot race. Mackesy wins the run out.
And this unit moves the ball at hyperspeed, and they get high-quality opportunities. You got 6-on-5, so can you not allow one player to play 2?
Tigers a little bit sloppy, putting the ball on the carpet, but able to maintain the handle with 15 seconds to go in the opening quarter. On the doorstep there, Saris, as the penalty expires. Back-to-back goals by the Tigers, and they're back up by 2. Braden Saris, the man-up specialist. Not sure if that'll count as a man-up goal, but he's now got 4 goals on 7 shots this season.
And Cody, one of the most dangerous moments in extra man defense, and is that moment when you go from 6-on-5 to 6-on-6 and you match up. So good. One of the best and the gold standard in college lacrosse.
You talk about that, generally Ivy League programs, really, really difficult to bring transfers in, and in the Ivy League you can't compete as a graduate student. So the past few seasons it's been 5 or 6 key contributors from those senior classes going on, making deep NCAA runs elsewhere around college lacrosse. There's a nice save by Ryan Croddick. That's his 4th of the night. Over the head of Kramer, far sideline. Kramer able to scoop it up and clear. Right, there's been a lot of turnover, but they just kind of keep backfilling. There's one constant for the Tigers. Coulter Mackesy, top of the formation. His 2nd of the night, and that's 3 in a row for the Tigers.
And when you recruit and develop guys like 91 in white, Coulter Mackesy, among others for Princeton, you reload, and he lets it loose from the outside in transition, gets to the middle of the field, and he goes offside hip on Heath.
Far side wing, Sean Dow, the face-off man. Talk about camaraderie, talk about consistency, those 3 roommates.
And Coach Scudder talked about that, and you can really build the chemistry on that unit when it's a 3-on-3.
Croddick, I don't know that he actually saw, but he's able to make the lower half stop.
Croddick just has a knack for making saves, and he has saved quite a bit. He leads the nation in saves per game. He has picked up where Gian Ficaro left off.
3-on-2 if the Mountain Hawks hurry. Nearly handcuffed Colin French. He's able to handle it and blow it right past Croddick. Lehigh back on the scoreboard.
And Cody, these are the second chance opportunities at this point in the season that add up to potential wins. The failed clear, the unsettled situation, and a dunk for the Mountain Hawks. And Coach Scudder talked about winning some of those situations.
Defenses.
And they are disruptive, and it starts for them on the ride, right when Princeton gains possession. That's when they start playing defense, and right there they cause a turnover in the ride. And as we've mentioned, those are the situations that you can create good scoring opportunities.
Liam Fairback, the ground ball on the face-off wing, gives possession back to Princeton. Top midfield line, Palumbo, Wade, and Bonanno, a junior, a sophomore, and a freshman. Kind of crazy that this is on paper still a relatively young Princeton team. Tucker Wade, swim move, beats 3 Mountain Hawks and has his 2nd of the night. What an individual effort by Tucker Wade, the sophomore.
And Tucker Wade will not be denied on this. And he puts Princeton up by 3, doubling up the Mountain Hawks. Just short stick matchup. Swim move on Checo, gets to the middle of the field, and just an amazing effort by 19 in white. Athlete, if you're Lehigh defensively, stick checks aren't going to prevent him from getting to a dangerous spot. So you got to bring the body at some point.
He beat Procaccini and then he beat Checo. Those are two of the better defenders in college lacrosse. Princeton back on offense. Here's Mackesy trying to draw the defense out. Over to Tucker Wade, short stick matchup. Mackesy quickly over to Bonanno. Bonanno, the freshman, attackman playing midfield. He's a lefty. And they'll kick it out. Mackesy, now Wade. Gets it on the left side, looking for the hat trick. Feed out in front, and it's Colin Burns getting in on the action. Largest lead early on for the Tigers at 7-3.
And Wade gets to the cage earlier, so they're going to slide to him early, and his head's up, and he finds Burns on the crease, and he buries it. If you're Lehigh, you slide, you support, so then there needs to be a replacement for the player.
Stahl pops up, he'll jog back to the sideline.
But what an effort by him in terms of to disrupt Kelly and contest him from really a dunk opportunity.
You talk about if you're Lehigh, opportunities you need to take advantage of. That's one of them. Your top scorer, point blank on the crease.
Couldn't agree more. So credit Stahl. That is hopefully he's okay, but he certainly left the field in a big-time way for his team.
Stahl, the lone new starter for the Tigers. They return their top 6 on offense. They return Molshine and Bath. Jack Stahl, the sophomore, Newport Beach, California. There's a shot. The goal was left empty, and firing and scoring is Hunter Spees. First career goal for Spees, another member of that top recruiting class last year.
And Spees, he's going to take advantage of an aggressive ride by Lehigh as Heath's out of the cage, and that is the risk you take when you pressure ride and the goaltender comes out. And
230 has played every minute in goal this season for the Mountain Hawks, just like his counterpart Chronic for the Tigers.
And both goaltenders, as we've mentioned, have been outstanding.
Dunphy fires high. It'll stay with Princeton.
And off the end line, in these end line situations nationally and in lacrosse in general, that's where you start to see some of the big little, a short stick being setting a pick for a player being guarded by a long stick.
Kramer steps into it. Top shelf for the 6'5 sophomore. All Princeton here in the second quarter. It's a 6-goal Princeton lead.
And this Lehigh defense packs it in to guard against the inside action and finishing ability of Princeton. And Kramer just gonna catch the skip pass from Burns, step into one from the outside, lets it fly, and he puts the Tigers up by 6.
Think the word there, leverage.
Versatility to an already versatile unit.
We talk interchangeable parts, and I think with Princeton, they just complement each other so well on the offensive end. And when we asked Will Scudder, okay, what's the difference? You saw Princeton last year. They were an Ivy Tournament championship team. What's the difference this year? It's a lot of the same people, but they're a year more experienced and they're more comfortable.
Couldn't agree more, and they're a year better when you come back to campus. You know, Coach Brian Brecht used to always say, you want to come back a year better, not just a year older. And Coach Mitchell used to say that as well, the great offensive coordinator for Princeton.
Lehigh off the restart. How about that shot on the run by Theodoropoulos? Snaps a 4-goal Princeton run and gets Lehigh back in it with 7:12 to go in the second. 4th goal of the season for the junior from Manorville, New York.
And nothing fancy about this one, just confrontational on his dodge, down the alley, beats the long stick, and he's gonna nail the outside part of the cage. Just a tough spot to save.
He came in 65% on the season. So far tonight, face-offs relatively even, 8-7 edge for the Mountain Hawks.
And he's been outstanding this season and really was shot out of a cannon on that face-off. Had to stop himself from stepping in the crease. He honestly might have stepped in the crease. I have done that before, so no worries.
High pass pulled down by Rodney. They'll keep it near side Rathwell. Gets below his man, didn't have the angle, gets it back to X for French. French has him hung up. He's going to wrap it topside and beat him off hands. What a shot by the first year from Radnor, Pennsylvania. Back-to-back tallies for the Mountain Hawks.
And you mentioned Radnor, Pennsylvania, just down the road across the border in Philadelphia. And he gets his defender Bath hung up, and he comes topside over the pick, and he beats Craddock to that far side opposite stick.
French, a first year, he started the opener against that goal by Saris right as we went back to 6-on-6.
Yeah, and that was, and as we've mentioned, those situations. So if Princeton doesn't score at the end of it, this is a short extra man. So if they don't score at the end of it, when they go from 6-on-5 to 6-on-6, that's danger zone for Lehigh.
Another 30-second penalty, just like they've all been tonight. The guilty party, Raul Ocho Terrena, the senior from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Local product for the Mountain Hawks. Cameron up top, Kabiri. Princeton, the #1 man-up unit in the nation, and Kabiri makes it count. Princeton just so patient, found the opening, and the Tigers have another man-up tally. Their 11th in 16 chances this season. It's 10-5.
And Lehigh's aggressive, and they press out, but Burns with the skip pass to his high school teammate Kabiri, and he gets it past Heath with a little bit of a bouncer. And Cody, good adjustment by Lehigh. That's the action earlier that Kabiri, he comes off the pick, or in lacrosse they call it a seal, where you come off, it's an off-ball pick. And Lehigh was all over it that time, as earlier in the game they were fooled by it.
Casey Heath, incredibly active. We've seen him on the 10-man rod. Saw him try to get in on the action offensively earlier. That time ranging way back. Lost his stick, but didn't come back to hurt him. Second midfield, Jack Archer, number 34, works it to Kelly. He's been somewhat quiet. Gets inside and beats Craddock for a Lehigh goal right on cue. Kelly had an assist earlier. Craddock took one away from him with some help from Stahl last time down the field. Kelly on the board with his 16th.
And Kelly's going to inside roll by goal line extended away from the support from Princeton. Increases his angle, and he dunks it on Craddock.
He is 6. Princeton jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Lehigh tied it 2-2. Princeton would score 7 of the next 8.
And Lehigh has sped this game up a little bit, and they've had their opportunities and they haven't cashed in, so this could be a lot closer of a game.
Lehigh starts the move with 25 seconds on the shot clock in the second midfield. Jack Archer sends it down low. Here's Kelly, turns, finds the angle, and scores. Going deep into the toolbox for his second here in the first half, and Lehigh's back within 3.
And pass down, pick down. Kelly come over the pick so he can get his hands free, and he scores for Lehigh. Gets them within 3 goals going in to halftime.
Look how much traffic
Here in this first half, and because of the new face-off rule, Sean Dow can't take the next face-off. So you have a chance to stack possessions if you're Princeton.
Dow 8 of 17 tonight at the face-off X after he came in at 65%. Palumbo somehow maintains the handle. We've seen that before. Had maybe the highlight goal of the season for the Tigers late against North Carolina with the truck stick and that victory down in Chapel Hill. There's Burns, jump, turn, fire, score. Princeton back up by 4 as Burns has his second.
And Colin Burns, he is so good without the ball in his stick. He's got such a high motor off ball, and all the attention's on Mackesy, and you blink, and Colin Burns puts it in the back of the net. Great job to turn to get to his strong hand, and he delivers. Offside, high on the goaltender.
The word that we face-off man is a player for the Mountain Hawks. So the shot clock, when the dust settles, 28 seconds, it'll remain Princeton possession. Princeton's led by as many as 6. They're up by 4 here, 11-7. Burns all alone at X. Palumbo is camped out. Now Burns comes topside. 15 on the shot clock. Palumbo, he's been quiet tonight. When he gets going, he can score in bunches. Draws the slide, 8 to shoot, comes topside and scores. Just fought through the physical contact to get the angle. 12-7 Princeton. First of the day for Palumbo.
And Palumbo too strong on the low wing area. Runs away from the slide. Gets topside. And he puts Princeton up by 5. And you see the long stick slides to Palumbo with a fresh shot clock, so fresh legs. Lehigh will really be tested here on this second possession of this possession.
Peter Bonanno, the top 10 recruit, the freshman. His father, one of the best players in the history of Brown lacrosse. His sister, a pretty good player for Princeton women's lacrosse, graduated last year. Bouncer, a little bit of a broken play. It'll stay with the Tigers.
And Princeton being very deliberate. If you're Lehigh, if you're fortunate enough to make a stop here, you got to think you got to have a long possession on offense on the back end.
Chad Palumbo fights through a couple of brown jerseys, turns the corner and scores. Second of the night. Palumbo, the 5th Tiger with multiple goals, and Princeton's got the lead back up to 6.
And Lehigh tries the double team on Palumbo, but too strong. Tigers up big.
And now Princeton, with 4 minutes to go, will get the midfield out there, run off the final few seconds of the Lehigh man up, and the Mountain Hawks 0 for 2 tonight with the extra man. We're back at 6-on-6. The Tigers looking for a goal, which will give them their largest lead of the contest. Palumbo drew the slide. It comes out near side, Kabiri. How about that? Peter Bonanno, the freshman for the Tigers. From up top for his 4th of the season. Largest lead of the night for the Orange and Black at 14-7.
And Bonanno, the freshman from Providence, Rhode Island, changes his level. And he increases the Princeton lead. Nothing fancy about this, just steps into one from the outside and stretches the defense from the out.
His older sister, Kari, 147 points here for Princeton. Graduated last year, and Peter Bonanno, one of the top 10 freshmen this year, according to Inside Lacrosse, has his 1st of the night, 4th of the season. We mentioned a lot of the players lost to graduation, those grad transfers. Princeton went up against their starting goalie the past couple of seasons, Michael Gianfrancaro, back in March against UNC down in Chapel Hill. Seemed like, right, if anyone's going to have the scouting report on this Princeton offense, it's the guy that's been between the pipes against him in practice. Who got the first goal in that one? It's Bonanno. Speaking of goals, Dakota Ironman back in the goal column, his 2nd of the night. And Lehigh gets one back late in the 3rd quarter.
And Bonanno and Ironman trading goals here in similar ways from opposite sides of the formation. And he's going to change his levels, drop his stick head low, and he's going to come up high. It looks like he's going to beat Craddock just.
Lowers the shoulder, gives it up to Mackesy. They spin it through X for Kabiri. Now up top, Cameron. Cameron looking to get one for the Tigers. Beautiful save by Heath. So quickly up ahead. Here comes Checo. Head of steam for the Lehigh pole. Passes off. Shot and a goal at the other end. Andrew Kelly has got the transition hat trick, and Lehigh back within 5. All started with the save by Heath.
And you mentioned Heath with the great save, and then it's the ground ball by Lehigh and the headman pass to Checo, where he starts the 4-on-3 break, and Kelly withstands the check from Princeton, and he delivers, going from defense to offense. Princeton nearly stopped that break opportunity. Great job. You see the ground ball there by Lehigh, by Mullen. That headman pass, the ball travels faster than any man. And this is why, and you create opportunities just like this.
Rodney out there. Here's Rodney against Fairback. Short stick matchup, change of direction. Kelly against Mulshine, gets the screen. Mulshine fights through it. Over to Rathwell, sends it topside. Winkler, starting for the second time in his career on attack, got his first career start Saturday against Loyola and had 2 goals.
And Jackson Green nearly picks off that pass, which led to a Lehigh opportunity. So high risk, high reward.
That one stung in from up top. Grant Rodney, the junior from Colorado Springs. Lehigh back within 4 with 14 minutes to play. First of the night for Rodney.
And Princeton's defense is packed in to defend against the inside, and Rodney lets it fly from the outside, and he beats Craddock. Scored on both his shots a year ago against Princeton, so he's been here before. And a turnover right there creates a second chance opportunity for Lehigh.
6th failed clear tonight by the Tigers. Theodoropoulos sends it topside. Craddock made the save, hit him in the chest, and he's able to come away with it.
And he's come up big for Princeton in times of vulnerability, so credit. 26 in white, Craddock, he's been outstanding.
Craddock, the first-year starter after the Tigers graduated. Gianfrancaro, here's Burns, lets it fly and beats him. Burns one-on-one, it was just a matter of what kind of shot he was going to take, and he stings it. 15-10, Tigers on top. The hat trick for Burns.
And Princeton's going to break the ride, and Burns point blank will not be denied. Great job by Agent Zero, Colin Burns. This offense.
Peter Bonanno, the number 7 recruit according to Inside Lacrosse at a Moses Brown school in Deerfield. Tucker Wade on the restart. Now Mackesy against McAuliffe. Bonanno against the short stick. Gets below, top shelf, second of the night for the freshman, and Princeton's got the lead back up to 7.
And Bonanno's going to take advantage of Lehigh being aggressive here, as they're going to slide to the back of his helmet, but he's going to run away from it and re-attack. And then he's going to just beat Heath on that post, that near post. Great job by Bonanno to run away from the support. Steals a couple. And that is the mark of a special goalie.
10-man ride, net is open, and it'll go back to Lehigh. Ryan Craddock's got 2 assists. He was bidding for his first goal. Last Princeton goalie with 3 points. You've got to go all the way back to 1973 and Bill Cronin, but that one was wide with no backup.
And Lehigh's gone to the 10-man ride quite a bit today, and that's what you'll see when there's no outlets. Shots from almost the length of the field.
Grant Rodney, step on his man, Baffin goes top shelf, running out of the box. Second of the night for the junior from Colorado Springs, and Lehigh's back within 5.
And Rodney, he gets a nice pick, creating a step, lets it fly, and he puts Lehigh within 5. But is it too late for them to make a run? Time will tell. Just under 6 minutes, 5:48. But great job to create leverage.
Keel getting another shifted attack, number 33 from Portland, Oregon. Not the first attackman from Oregon. Alex Slusher a couple years ago at Princeton before he finished his career at Duke.
Slusher, he was fantastic his time as a Princeton Tiger. Helped lead that run to the Final Four in 2022.
Mackesy had a couple of early goals. Tries to draw the slide up top. Palumbo over to Wade. Bouncer had a steam and a goal to put the Tigers up 17-11. Tucker Wade's got a hat trick.
And Tucker Wade has just been dominant tonight, winning his matchup primarily against short sticks, but dominating. Right here, he does it against the long pole. Down the alley, makes them pay for not supporting him in time. And Wade delivers, as he's done all night tonight.
Tucker Wade's got 3. Ironman working on Billy Barnes. Bouncer kicking towards the corner, and not sure if they're going to say it was a shot or if it was deflected, but it'll stay with Lehigh.
No reset, so probably a deflection, looks like.
Talked about Billy Barnes out there, number 30, second generation Princeton Tiger. His older brother Tommy Barnes played here recently, graduated last year. Hitting for another one, that's Kelly, and he sneaks it past. Not sure how that one found its way into the back of the net, but Kelly's got his 4th.
And Kelly around goal line extended where he does a lot of his damage. Fights his way to the net, soaks some contact as well, will not be denied. And these plays for Lehigh, yes, the game